All right. Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you. Welcome to HBAP Startups. My name is Todd Brous, and I'll be your cruise director for the evening. Don't forget to check out the buffet on the Lido deck. So I'm here with my partners in crime, Susan Schultz and Liz Otero, and welcome everyone to HBAP Startups. First off, for those of you who are new to our group, we have a few announcements that we do at the beginning of each meeting. We do a short networking breakout room, and then we will come back together for our main event. First off is our mission. We're here to help foster and fortify an innovation and entrepreneur community coming out of the Harvard Business Analytics program. Our goal is to provide our members with the tools, knowledge, leadership, and confidence necessary to create and grow their businesses from the ground up. You're probably wondering how to engage with our community. We do have a website and we have a newsletter. And I'm going to post those into the Zoom chat in a second. If you are interested in applying to the Harvard Business Analytics program, please go to analytics.hbs.edu, click the Apply Now button, and there's a statistically significant chance that you will get in, and it will change your life. Let me post into the Zoom chat these links. So please do sign up for our newsletter and check out our website. Also, we do have a new YouTube channel at HBAP Startups, and that's linked on our website as well. Also, please bring a guest, spread the word. And again, reminder, these recordings will be made publicly available. So during the Q&A session, keep that in mind. And we will have some overtime afterwards where we stop the recording. Susan.
Yeah. So, just a reminder of why we're here, right? Why did we start this and why are we here? Which is really to create a place where we can learn a lot, we can get feedback and give feedback and really just help each other continue our journey as entrepreneurs and innovators wherever we are. And so we want to create this inclusive environment for everyone and make sure that it's an arena where we can collaborate with trust and confidentiality. So just a reminder about the Francis Fry 5-to-1 ratio, and then I'll give you the Kelly Kimball version of that or modification. So the Francis Fry feedback is for every one piece of astringent feedback that you give 5 pieces of wonderfully sweet feedback, because that scientifically is proven to be more effective as people receive feedback. And now the Kelly version, which is skip the astringency, just go straight for the sweetness on every piece of feedback that you do. And then, as always, if you have any concerns about confidentiality or conflicts of interest or anything like that, Todd and Liz and I are here to help you figure that out and fix it. Okay, back, Todd.
All right, back to me. I just want to welcome any new folks, but I think everybody here has been here before, so I'm going to skip this slide. Upcoming, again tonight, we've got Tracey Warren. Next week, Tom Cronin, I think is how he pronounces his name. He'll be talking about mindset strategies to magnify your success. Following week is Dolly Singh, the founder and CEO of Terra Talent. Then we've got another session with Allison Byers. And then Susan's going to be doing a workshop on de-risking your business. And then later on in April, we've got Pam Groen talking about the business of science. Susan, sorry.
Yeah, and so it's not just me, it's Todd and Liz and I and a few other people are really continuing just our workshop series of, as you move along in your startup, what are some things that you need to think about? And it's really kind of around that perspective of how do you de-risk it so that you'll get customers, so that you'll get investors, so that you'll get team members.
Thank you. I missed that. All right, so let's do some social one-on-one breakout rooms. Bear with me for a second while I move a couple of people around. Mafe, I'm going to try and move you into the two of you into the same room. I'm gonna try and see if I can get that to work this time. All right.
With another person, okay.
Yeah, with another person that's not yourself. Yeah, I do apologize for that. All right. I think I've got it working. I will see you guys in 5-6 minutes. Enjoy. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a good time in your social breakout rooms. All right, just one last announcement. We will do some overtime at the very end. Also, when you exit Zoom, please fill out the survey that will show up in your web browser. That's very important to us. We are data analytics people. And again, you've heard me say this, without data, we become distraught, sad, and lost. So please remember, filling out surveys saves lives. And again, after we're done, we will stop recording. The recordings will be made public. They will be posted on YouTube. So during the Q&A session, please keep that in mind. And then stick around for some overtime, which will not be recorded. All right. And now it is my honor to introduce tonight's speaker, Tracey Warren. Tracey is the CEO of F5 Collective, a fund that is creating impact by investing in women founders. Tracey has over 15 years of experience across financial markets, advisory, and working directly with founders. And she is determined to highlight the massive investment opportunity that exists by backing great female entrepreneurs. Tracey believes that women have the capacity to change the trajectory of our planet for the better. And it is through activating an ecosystem through F5 that she is providing the support that women need to usher in a new generation of leaders that will help build that future. Her underlying values around conscious leadership, authenticity, trust, and belonging are transparent in the passion she brings to supporting women who dare to solve big problems. Beyond this, she is a self-confessed fries fiend and cherishes time spent on the beach with her husband and Cocker Spaniel, Brinkley. Now, without further ado, if we could all please briefly unmute ourselves, and let's give a warm round of applause to Tracey Warren. We need to work on the unmuting ourselves. All right. I wanted applause, a round of applause. All right, Tracey, thank you for joining us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the incredible introduction. And I guess, hello, amazing humans. Let's see a show of hands if you believe startups have the ability to change our world for the better. I'm with you there. My story is one of continual learning, a deep knowing I am meant to do more, and finally realizing that only through a connection to something greater than myself could I find the success I've so desperately been searching for. A broken floor is no place for a girl. These were words spoken to me before I became one of the only female brokers on the commodities floor. I was 23 and I thought I had made it. I was so confident in my ability to prove everyone wrong. I took a role with no salary. I was renting my seat on the broking floor. My Bloomberg terminal alone was costing me $8,000 a month. I was in the red before I even set foot through the door. And I probably could have made more money at Macca's, to be very honest. My first day, I wandered through the broking floor and took my place on the currency desk. I give you 6 months were the first words spoken to me. I was fresh out of back office at the time, and I was ready to do this. I thought this was my chance. What I didn't realize, as the only female on a floor of 60 brokers, I worked twice as hard while the boys went out for do not return lunches. I was treated as the admin for the desk, even though I was a broker and taking no salary. I had to decide between watching a trade, running to the bathroom, and having the guy next to me pick up my line and try and steal a client, because how could a 23-year-old girl run a portfolio? I put up with behavior every single day that would probably result in lawsuits today. I went home and cried more times than I probably care to admit. And then the GFC came along. I was a currency trader, and currency traders love volatility. At a time when others were suffering, I made incredible money. I drove a Spider. I lived harbourside in Sydney. I wore designer clothes. For those of you who watch Ted Lasso and what us Aussies love to refer to, I had officially become an absolute wanker. It's funny how much money can mask until it doesn't. Until anxiety, panic attacks, and feeling like an empty shell become unbearable. Many years later, I moved state, moved fiance, and moved into capital markets. I was working on large market deals, oil and gas in far north Queensland, timber deals out of Fiji, a constant flow of mining and resources. It's Australia, we dig a lot out of the ground here. In a commercial team who we're being deal makers as a badge of honor. I finally got to a point where my soul just literally died. I stood at the lift and I just couldn't bring myself to press the lift button. There are a lot of the same words that get thrown around to describe ideal founder attributes: grit, determination, tenacity, drive. But something I don't hear many people speak about is that being a founder is about connection, authenticity, and knowing yourself deeply. As a sector, funds measure their big, hairy, audacious goals based on funds under management. They count their management fees instead of the difference they make. They dehumanize by displaying company logos instead of the founders they are backing. They chalk exits instead of measuring their impact. They have no accountability because what you don't measure, you can't be held accountable for. And we seem to accept good intentions instead of real action. No wonder things are going wrong. It was through paying it forward and working with women founders at a time when I had hit a low point in my own life that led me to finding something greater than myself. My name is Tracey Warren, and I am here to show you the universe rewards those who dare to drop the ego, stand for something greater than themselves, and challenge the status quo. I'm a hugs, not handshakes kind of girl, and these days, I have a strict no assholes policy. I have a big, hairy, audacious goal to fund 1,000 women founders by 2030. I celebrate our founders by sharing their story and showing their faces to help inspire and empower more women. I measure my impact by the support our founders receive, the meaningful employment we create, the good for people and planet, achieved by backing women that have the guts to stand up and solve big problems. I see opportunity where others don't. Investing in the underestimated will generate greater returns for humanity, our planet, and profits. I just happen to be the CEO of a fund that invests in exceptional women. 100 years. At the current rate gender equity is progressing, it is going to take 100 years to achieve something close to parity in the business world. All of us here today will not see real equity in our lifetime. Humanity is at an inflection point. In my experience, there are three pretty distinct categories when it comes to founders. The first is the opportunist. They found a way to make money and they are driven to make more of it. The second is the opportunist who added on a social good. The founder found a way to make money, but they tacked on a greater purpose because they discovered it's great for marketing. And since this is a bolt-on, it typically falls into a social good that is completely detached from what the company does or produces. And third, driven by the mission. The founder is so compelled to solve a problem. They have absolute unwavering belief that their purpose in this lifetime is to solve this problem. Their why and their mission is the very DNA of their business and has a direct impact on their company and their product. In fact, their product gets better as a result of the mission. These founders have the ability to articulate a new and better state of the world. They can rally team members, customers, and investors around their mission. If you lack a clear North Star, you are unable to connect and unite people to your mission. You will be unable to connect and unite your team. And in most cases, the product you build is a mess of mixed signals. Being mission-driven provides clear focus. And what I feel most importantly is knowing when to say no. If a project won't bring the company closer to realizing its mission, most mission-driven founders won't pursue it, even though it might be an attractive business opportunity. A mission helps with recruiting. In the early days of building a company, hiring great talent is critical. Founders that can offer a way to associate with a bigger purpose are able to compete with larger companies and find talent who are driven and motivated to go above and beyond. The right team separates great startups from good ones. It allows you to cultivate a loyal and motivated customer base and identify the right fit partners that share a values alignment and a common cause. Building a company is a long journey, and anything that improves the odds of success gives you an unfair advantage. In my experience, founders who are passionate about their purpose are more likely to succeed. Laser focus on great missions allows you to achieve difficult goals and creates real and lasting progress in the world. From Shark Tank to Netflix to Dragon's Den to Silicon Valley and VCs, being an entrepreneur these days has very clearly become part of pop culture. We have become obsessed with startups and seem to glorify all elements that encompass entrepreneurship. We treat tech founders like they are celebrities and VCs like they are the midwives of innovation. The ego-driven founder has certainly crash landed. TechCrunch has even given them an official name, the new Silicon Valley douchebag, because apparently we needed more of them. I get it. The lure of being a founder is seductive. Stories of the tech company that sold for millions, those unicorn entrepreneurs where the days are short and the money flows. But the truth is, most are going to find a harsher reality waiting for them. And looking at the numbers, most will fail. Ego-driven entrepreneurs are obsessed with delivering keynotes, attending conferences, publicity, likes and follows. They seem to lose sight of their core goal as an entrepreneur, and that is to remain focused on their mission and their business. An ego-driven founder believes they are the company and attaches the value creation to themselves. I know you are all thinking about someone right now who fits this profile, seeking public validation at all turns, constant media gigs and exposure that don't quite seem to translate into business growth. Harvard Business Review themselves have coined the term the starstruck entrepreneur. Mission-driven founders, on the other hand, are obsessed with creating value by solving real-world problems with high-quality solutions. They remain laser-focused on building an outstanding product and delighting their customer. And this, for most part, takes empathy to be able to step into your customer's shoes and understand the problem you're solving. When I say the word founder, what are some of the words that instantly come to mind? It seems to have a certain prestige. It carries connotations of innovation, creativity, determination. As a noun, founder means a beginner, originator, a person who comes up with an idea, hopefully a profitable one, and transforms it into a business. As a verb, founder isn't so kind. But one other word pops up whenever I hear the word founder, and that's fundraise. During my time working with and mentoring women founders, I noticed something really interesting. Founder to them meant fundraise. When I say business owner, what are some words that come to mind? Perhaps far less sexy, maybe far less prestige, but the word fundraise just seems to disappear. The moment you call yourself a business owner, you shift your focus to self-sufficiency, revenue generation, and consistent profitability. Something incredibly useful when you are thinking through the monetization of your idea or getting your business off the ground. We have all read The Lean Startup, but in my experience, most really struggle to apply it. The most successful founders I have come across are the ones who just get on with building a business. They are driven by empathy and purpose. They have one true boss, their customer, and one North Star, their mission. The moment I asked these women I was working with to drop their founder tagline and call themselves a business owner, they shifted from, I don't have any funds, I can't get started, to starting with what they can to prove out their idea. The other trait here that I realized successful founders possess is flexibility. In most cases, no original plan ends up being the right one. You can be correct about the destination, but be flexible with how you get there. The media celebritization of entrepreneurs has also perpetuated the entrepreneur stereotype. I want you to all think about a successful entrepreneur. Who is the first person that comes to your mind? Most people on this call will name Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, or Jeff Bezos. The crime here that no one seems to call out is the role mainstream media is playing in the exclusion of women from entrepreneurship. There is a complete lack of women entrepreneurs featured as part of regular business news, and even less representation for women of color. Media is an incredibly important carrier of culture, and media representation of entrepreneurship matters. It shapes and strengthens women's entrepreneurial aspirations. It directly influences expectations and perceptions of what a successful entrepreneur looks like. And it directly influences the opportunities for women founders. The stereotypes of entrepreneurship are so prevalent in the ecosystem. They shape policies. They shape women's expectations. And they pose significant barriers when it comes to accessing funding. In Australia, we have governments who mean well, and then through bureaucracy and policies, they seem to get in their own way. We have 2 women in our current portfolio who received no's to accessing government funding, since one was too diluted, and the second, the structure of her entity wasn't the right fit. How much more out of touch can you be? Research shows that women who pitch to VCs are asked more questions to qualify their track record because they just don't fit what the profile of what success looks like. Their male counterparts are asked questions that show their potential. Questions matter. Men are asked questions that allow them to speak in an aspirational way. And women seem to get obstacle or prevention style questions. The research numbers show that for every prevention question asked, it equates to a loss of $3.8 million in funding for women founders. Many women entrepreneurs are now not even bothering to apply for the funding they desperately need to scale their business. And for the young girls out there, you can't be what you can't see. Innovation and entrepreneurship have become synonymous with technology. But innovation is so much more than just technology. I asked you to name a successful entrepreneur earlier. Why not Rihanna or Kylie Jenner for their beauty empires? They're both billionaires. Or Falguni Nayar, India's richest self-made woman. Or Judy Faulkner, founder of Epic Systems, no VC money taken. Or Reese Witherspoon, who started Hello Sunshine to, in her words, change the way all women are seen in the media. Women are more likely to build businesses in sectors such as services, health, beauty, retail, social and cultural. Women tend to have multiple goals for their business, such as sustainability and social impact, which go far beyond the hypergrowth VCs value above all else. Being an entrepreneur is less to do with understanding technology and everything to do with wanting to improve society and creating an emotion in people's lives. To achieve parity in the business world in our lifetime, young girls need to grow up seeing themselves in the stories being told. If you see opportunities and solve problems in creative ways, you are an entrepreneur no matter your gender, your age, your ethnicity, or your socioeconomic background. Women-led firms consistently bring in better rates of returns, and diverse teams are 35% more likely to have better financial returns. Our world has a ton of problems that are worth solving, and the innovation needed to solve them will not come from a stereotype sitting in Silicon Valley. It is time to usher in a new era. I want you all to think back to a time when you just knew something was meant for you. What did it feel like? That feeling deep down in your gut that this is it, this was meant for you. That feeling is something I have coined a hell yes. A hell yes is found at the intersection of IQ, EQ, and BQ, whole body intelligence, or simply intelligence, purpose, and passion. It is obvious to most that the path we are on as a society is unsustainable. The leadership that got us to this point is not going to take us where we need to go. Strategies that were driven by control, by greed, by self-interest. It is time to elevate our leadership and our impact. Conscious leadership is where a leader is so radically responsible and self-aware. They focus on building cultures of we, not me. They speak with integrity. They lead with authenticity, and they hold themselves accountable. They create an environment that allows people to recapture their desire for grit and perseverance through trust, growth, and purpose. They make decisions from a place of abundance, not scarcity, and they build brands of trust and integrity by living and breathing their mission, their values, and their principles. They possess deep and radical awareness of oneself. As someone who is currently going through this process, becoming self-aware is one of the most confronting and beneficial things you can do. The act of getting to know yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your thoughts, your feelings, and your motives. And asking yourself, how can I bring consciousness into my everyday? While we are all individuals, our circle plays a huge role in our personal character and our success. Think about the 5 people closest to you. What is their attitude? Their behavior? What is their worldview? And ask yourself, are you satisfied with being the sum of these people? When I was asked this question recently, I knew it was time to make some changes. from my office environment to my business partnerships, to my network, to my friends? Are the leaders in your world building cultures of we or me? People who believe in something greater than themselves and are in alignment with their whole body intelligence just vibrate at a different level. You will be amazed at who and what you attract into your life and who's no longer in your orbit. A true leader walks the path of the heart and inspires others to work towards the creation of a better world. Why is more important than what? What drives the entrepreneur, their analytical framework, and their value system can all be understood by learning why they are building a company and not what they are building. It allows you to bring consciousness into all you do. And having purpose makes you purposeful. You can have more talent, more smarts, more ideas, but unless you know why, you will lack a clear long-term vision. F5 Collective is here to create impact through action. Women equals women. There is a direct correlation between a lack of women in senior leadership and a lack of women founders in the portfolios of VCs. You can't back what you don't understand and what you can't see. F5 Collective is a formidable partnership between US partners and Australia, building the future for women founders. By leveraging the deep experience and learnings of a more mature market to directly impact women in Australia and markets in this region. Our why? Every mission-driven woman we invest in directly impacts the future of humanity, the future of our planet, and helps drive gender parity into the business world in my lifetime. We expect our founders to be mission-driven, and so are we. By backing great women founders who leverage technology to drive social and environmental impact, we drive greater impact with our dollars. By tracking metrics such as meaningful employment and the benefit to people who can make better decisions for themselves and their families. The increasing confidence when our founders are wrapped with the right expert support to plug knowledge gaps. By having the guts to call out outdated processes that have allowed discrimination and bias to control decision-making. By unifying and working with partners that share our mission and share their knowledge with our founders to build businesses that solve problems that are worth solving. By putting money into the hands of women founders that will change the trajectory of our future for the better. I believe by activating an ecosystem of experts, the right fit partners, and motivated investors, my big, hairy, audacious goal of funding 1,000 women by 2030 is achievable. By uncovering those women founders that are just as passionate as we are about their mission, we can redesign what the funding process looks like and create lasting impact for both people and planet. I only have one slide to share with you today, and it is the fearless women founders who currently make up the F5 Collective portfolio, and who F5 as a team, as a community, as an ecosystem will help them rock the world in what they achieve. Just 1 second whilst I bring up my slide. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Jodie Baker, founder and CEO of Zakia, in-house legal tech. She goes to work every single day on her startup to inspire her teenage children to do something more with their lives, that better is out there. Paula Burton, co-founder and CEO of Mass Dynamics, incredible software that is likened to the Canva of the space they're in. Shivani Gopal, founder of Eladex, a mentoring app for women. Lena Zhu, co-founder of Telecare. They are kicking incredible goals, and I believe Lena is about to present and pitch to Harvard in a week or so. And Nicole Gibson. For those of you who had the opportunity to hear Nicole speak last week, you know what it means to live and breathe your why. You know what it means to be mission-driven. She exudes her mission through every pore in her body. My goal in speaking to you today was simply to empower and inspire you, to have the guts to make impact happen. Our planet, our future, humanity, all depends on it. And action equals impact. It's been an honor to speak to you. That is it.
Tracey, thank you for this. I've taken 7 pages of notes and inspiration. Thank you. I would love to open this up to some Q&A. I just want to remind everyone here who joined us late that this is being recorded, and we will be posting this on YouTube publicly. So if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hands and we'll call on you. On that note, while waiting for folks to raise their hands, and if we need to, we'll stop the recording if people are not comfortable with that. One of the things that I loved was the concept of the business owner versus the founder. I really respond to that. I've been criticized by calling myself a business owner and shifted over to a founder. And now you're telling me that maybe that's not right. And I need to think about that. So, but I like that business owner. It's generates revenue. It's profit. Yeah. So
it was something that was it was so successful in the women that I was working with. Just that dropping that one word and that one shift, it just was incredibly powerful.
Love it. Thank you. Dean, your hand is up.
Yeah, Tracy, that was a fantastic presentation. I mean, you're looking at 1,000 by 2030. So there's nearly about 3 every 3 days. I mean, every 3 days you're trying to fund one. That's a pretty big goal. What sort of level of funding are you trying to target for your founders in your fund that you're getting?
So this is where I say the ecosystem partners is really, really important. No one fund is going to make that difference here. And so part of what I've been doing for the last couple of months in F5 is really finding those family offices, funds, and investors that share our mission and just uniting them. And as one fund, that is a huge goal, but maybe as 10, as 20, maybe it's not so huge. And maybe that timeline shrinks.
Thanks, Dean.
Yeah, if I could ask a question, one of the questions I think Dean had was, and what level of funding? Is that what you had asked?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Two questions.
As in each founder, what the level that they're getting?
Yeah, so what sort of what sort of money are they targeting? You know, is it 100,000, 500,000, 50,000? So what is it? What sort of the
Yeah. Well, look, it
target?
doesn't even need to be much. 250,000 in the hands of a founder can actually go a long way. And so if we sit around that mark, I mean, if we look at Blackbird, they're $1 billion fund here in Australia. And the numbers that have gone into women founders are woeful at best. And they're government backed. That is government money that has gone into Blackbird. So if I use them as an example, 250K in the hands of 1,000 women founders, it's really not much.
Thanks, Dean. I see Yvonne's got her hand up, and then we'll go to Rika.
Hi, Tracy. Great to meet you. I have a question regarding your background and then how you translate that to what you look for in women founders. So you had the benefit of suffering through a trading floor and the competitive environment in that trading floor, and had to be in the sales world. Do you look for that in women founders, in their ability to get out there and raise the money, sell? How are you assessing that? And then my second question is, what is the life of the fund? So what's your hold period? And when you're thinking about what does success look like with regards to your investments, how long are you willing to support the women founders? And at what point are you thinking that you're going to help them through the seed funding, or is this even longer term capital?
So for me, and F5 as a team, the founder and the why is really, really important. That comes before anything else, and really narrowing in on, is that why real? There are a lot of opportunists that just bolt on a social good just because it's good, right? Just because it's great for marketing. So how do we weed through those founders that really are genuine and that are here for the long haul, right? A lot of startups are going to fail, but a mission-driven and purpose-driven founder will find a way. They are here and it is their purpose to solve that problem. So that comes first. The other part, and the whole reason between shifting away from a founder mindset into a business owner mindset, is, does the monetization make sense? You still have to be a business. We're not here for charity. We're still here to make money. But does all these things line up? It starts with the founder always. My background on a trading floor, maybe it's given me a little more grit, determination, or maybe it hasn't. Maybe I walked away from that and went, never, ever again. And in terms of the longevity of the fund, and every fund has to decide this, how much money are you going to reserve for the follow-on? Are you going to follow on with your founders? And what does that look like? What markers do they need to hit to allow you to keep following on? And if you are ride or die and you say my founder is the right fit because of their why, because they're here for the right reasons, and we back them. We, at this stage, are a proof of concept fund number 1. So it is a smaller fund. We are gearing up for fund 2, which will be much larger, and we're still discussing what that looks like, but it would allow us to do things that fund 1 just won't, because it's a little smaller.
And if I may, one last question, how are you managing the expectations within the family offices? Because, you know, I've had investors, and sometimes the family offices are wonderful and they have a longer term perspective. And sometimes, you know, you have an economic cycle that changes and they have the same perspective as everybody else. And even though the business may be doing to plan or even better, you know, in the end, there's a lot of pressure on that side. So how are you thinking about helping from that perspective?
So for me, when I went back and said the right fit partners and the why is really important, it means the same from my network. And I went through this process recently where I had to really look at my network. I did an investor event when Kelly was in Sydney, and we had a bunch of my contacts, family offices, high net worths around a table, and we did a whole event for them. And I remember saying, I walked out of that room going, I realized who were the right fit and who weren't. on that day. And so now I'm going through this network, and I have a very large network of family offices and high net worths. In fact, the money side has not really been the problem for me for some reason, just given my background, but uncovering those right fit, the kind that understand we're not going to turn a 10-year business into a 2-year business. The ones that have a female mandate, the ones that have an impact mandate, the ones that are driven by something more. We are all still here to make money, don't get me wrong. It's just that it needs to be balanced with the other side of things. And what does success look like? And even for me, I have gone through and I'm weeding through those that are probably going to fall out of my orbit and those that are absolutely going to be there as our co-investors, as our partners, and form that ecosystem.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Yvonne. Rika, and then we'll go to Susan.
Yes, hi, Tracy. It was a pleasure meeting you at our 101, and so many insights in your presentation. I wanted to ask you to bring equity in the business world and to have examples for the youth. It is not just about women founders. It is also about the executive teams and about the boards. So I'm wondering if you can share your thoughts about those two areas, and how do you approach that with the women founders that you are supporting?
I've had this discussion with one woman that I was mentoring or coaching a couple of years ago, and she was a little disconnected from the why she kept telling me that she had. And the idea was to help migrant women in Australia move into meaningful employment. In Australia, usually your credentials or your qualifications are not recognized, right? So we have women that come in as migrants and they're engineers, they're highly successful, and they get put into sewing roles or cooking roles or whatever. So her goal was to help these women find meaningful employment. She was also all about diversity and inclusion. And when I looked at her board, there was a bunch of white women. And I said to her, how do these women understand and can put themselves into a migrant woman's shoes and understand what they're going through? And so then we started working on, well, is this the right fit? Who makes up the right fit? And it is really important that you have a board that reflects your why and your mission just as much as yours. And so I actually worked with her in removing some women from that board and putting some women in there that actually allowed her to build this business into something incredible. But boards matter. And I think some founders make the mistake of just throwing people onto this board because they think, oh, look at their credentials, it's going to make them look good. They need to serve a purpose being on there, and they need to live and breathe your mission just as much as you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rika. Susan, and then we'll go to Victor.
So Tracy, this is just incredible. And we're pitching tomorrow in that same Harvard competition. So this was perfect timing. So one, just kind of accolade to you, because I think for me personally, one of the challenges is to be willing to state my why to maybe hostile audiences or audiences that I'm not clear whether they're really there or not. This Harvard one is a perfect example. But just what you reminded us of is that's why we're here, right? So stay true to that, stay true to the why, which is awesome and perfect timing. So thank you. And then the second piece is a question. So we're just kicking off our fundraising and really working to target those angels and high net worth individuals and maybe some VCs who are really wedded to our why of diversity and inclusion. And I'm in the construction industry, so kind of an unusual woman founder, woman business owner, because I'm in a very male dominated industry, but that's been my career. So in addition to when we're looking to winnow down the list of thousands of high net worth individuals and thousands of angels. I'm asking about the signals to winnow them down. So you talked about, do they have women in leadership? Do they have an impact mandate? Do they have a female mandate? Are there any other signals for us to look at to really winnow down our targets?
Absolutely. Look to their portfolio. Absolutely. Because sometimes there is a complete disconnect between what they say and their mandate is. And then you look at their investments and go, yeah, I'm not so sure. And this happens a lot in Australia too. So really understanding who they've invested in, but more importantly, what the role was and the fit. So what did they bring to that relationship? Was there direct connections? What did that look like? And when you walk into that room and you say, I know you invested in A because of your background in B, well, I fit because your background in B also allows this to happen in my business, and really, really nutting down what it is they can help you with, because most investors want to do more than just give the capital. In my experience and in my network, the family offices or the angels won't invest in stuff that they don't have a background in, that they don't understand, or they can't provide the connections to help you grow. So when I used to present startups and investment opportunities, and I used to do this a lot, that was absolutely where I would look first: their portfolio, where they'd invested, and where I thought that you could be a great fit.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Victor.
Yes, Tracy, thanks so much for joining us tonight and sharing your story with us. I want to tell you, in terms of your goal of inspiring us, mission accomplished. This has been insightful. You could publish the words you spoke to us. You could TED Talk the words you spoke to us, from my perspective. And the reason is because the underpinnings of your journey, of your transitions into the great insights that you shared with us tonight that are your North Star, are as impactful as any I've ever heard. So I want to thank you so much for that. It's been a privilege.
Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. I'm going to go to Gian first, then we'll end up with Divya. Gian?
Okay, thank you, Todd. Yeah, anyway, nice to meet you, Tracy. It was my really my honor. Thank you. So only one question, very short. I missed the first 10 minutes of your talk, so I might here repeat something. But anyway, my question is about, are you focused on women first or project first? I knew that you talk about there's 3 types of project, and that you might focus on the latter, or you are more tendent to the latter. So at this point, or any point, that you favor women first or project first?
Our fund is a fund that invests in women founders. So there must be a woman on the founding team, or someone that identifies as a woman on the founding team. Beyond that, I look to why and what you're trying to achieve. For me, we try to stay sector agnostic, but this is where that why becomes incredibly important. Along with the business that you're building, does the business make sense? Is it going to make money? And all those fundamentals that come into play. But looking for that mission-driven founder, and that the person that can inspire people with that mission is what I really, really do look for.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Divs.
Tracy, our rock star. Lovely. Awesome. So
You guys know each other, right? You're partners, right?
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
We are the team. We are the ones who are going down this journey together. So could not be
more excited to have Tracey and Kelly to be part of this journey, along with the other folks. Tracey, I think it's more a broad general ask or question is, we have these folks, these amazing HBAP community here, right? I think what we're working towards in F5 is a lot of work. It is a big task that it is, we're trying to accomplish. But it has to start with every one of us, including the folks here, right? If there was something that you were to ask people in this room to say, as they join us in this journey, what can they do to help, another female founder in whatever way they can? What would you say that would be? That's a biggie, but thanks, Diz.
You have it to talk.
Do you know what? It probably comes back to the women that I just fell into mentoring these women. I was at a point where I had my own startup that collapsed because of all the severe lockdowns we went through here in Melbourne. And just because of my background, I kept getting asked questions around funding and all these things. And so I became this somewhat of a mentor. Before I knew it, I was working with 20 women founders. So just some learnings that I can come from that is we need to get to women far earlier in their journeys. By the time that F5 gets to them, these women are so severely diluted in most cases and have taken such crappy terms from early investors because they thought this is the only money I'm ever going to get. So I think for all of us, if we can start to get to women earlier and just empower them to say, no, that's not the only money I'm going to get. That's not the only deal I need to take. And I take my power back. I take it back. There is going to be the right fit investor that is not going to screw you over, that is not going to give you such shitty terms that by the time you get to a seed round, you are so diluted, like one of the women in our portfolio, you couldn't even access government grants because you were so diluted. So I think just getting to women earlier and getting them to realize that there is the right fit investor out there for you. Just don't take shitty terms. I love it. I will add to that because I know, so Alison Byers is on the call and we had a similar discussion when Alison had an AMA. And I think that was one of the things I brought up, Tracey, is I think it is equally important for the founder not to when we talk about de-risking, we always think about de-risking our pitch deck, for the investor perspective or the business model. But I think it's, like you said, it's equally or more important to de-risk your own cap table as a company owner. Like understand, how you are going to manage the business and who your partners are going to be in making sure your business is going to be successful and they're going to support you to reach that, that success point in every step of the way, because each one views success differently.
And partners matter. When I was in capital markets, it took me 3 years, and these are large market deals. It took me 3 years to get the wrong fit investor off a cap table. And it was so expensive. It ended up being a debt equity combo to buy them out and get them off the cap table. And 3 years of my costs that this poor company, this founder was paying. So that right fit is everything.
Thanks, Divs. Kelly. Oh, Roland just got his hand up at the last minute. All right. So Roland, we're going to go to you, then we're going to go to Kelly, and then we're going to end the recording. Roland.
Okay, just one question. What do you do when you don't know what success looks like, and did that ever happen to you?
I think success looks different to every single person. And I think as someone who took a long time to uncover my why, and someone who had to actually hit rock bottom in her life to find the why, you need to find your why. It gives you purpose. It gives you direction. it tells you instantly, what does success look like? For me, simply coming out with this big, hairy, audacious goal of funding 1,000 women, it's instantly given me this success, this goal. Everything leads back to that. It becomes so much easier, but it is unique to everyone. My why and my success is not your why and your success, but all I can say is why and your mission make everything else so much easier, because it all flows from there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roland. Kelly Kimball.
I didn't have my hand up, Todd.
Yeah, well.
Alice, or Tracy, I just want to congratulate you on the incredible partners you brought together. I think they're an awesome team. Sorry, a little shameless plug there. You're going to be in Boston here in a couple of weeks. There are people here from Boston, Sima, Allison, several others. I hope you get the opportunity when you're in Boston to meet these folks. They're really stellar human beings, and there's a few of them on this call. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know where everybody's from. But I do know those two. Anyway, I just want to thank you. I mean, I've got no questions for you that I don't ask you every single day of your life. But you make us proud. You make I just love being a part of this team, and I feel like we're going to actually make a difference. And it's not because of me. It's because you're sitting there at the helm of this thing, and you clearly are an inspiration, and an inspiration to those of us who are on your team, and the people you talk to as well. And I have to parrot Victor. I want a copy of that speech, because if you do have a copy of it, because I do believe that thing could be published. I really want to sit down and look at that thing, because that was remarkable. So just from I feel like I'm the proud papa. So I just love you, Tracy, and love everything about you. And thank you so much for showing up here today and doing this.
Thank you. I have to say, the only reason we're here is because of Kelly. And I had the absolute honor of meeting Kelly, Divya, and Marqueza, who are the US partners to F5 Australia. But I met them last year, and I didn't know what I was walking into. I was told there are some people coming out from the US that want to start a female fund, and you have experience working and mentoring women founders. Do you want to just come and give them a lay of the land? And what was a 1-hour conversation has now led to what we're building now. And it's allowed me to now double down, even triple down on what was a why of mine. And we're going to kick some great goals. And all I can say is having the right partners and the right team is so incredibly important. That team you put around you means success or failure. And I am so happy I lucked out with an incredible team.
Kelly, thank you. Tracy, this was a pleasure. And Divya, Kelly, thank you for bringing Tracy to us tonight. Thank you for your wisdom, inspiration, leadership, and this mission. Susan.
Yeah, just ditto. It was wonderful. Just very insightful, very full of very specific things to do. Some very inspirational and aspirational things, but also very tactical and specific things to do, which is always helpful as well, especially in the startup and founder world. So thank you so much. And Kelly and Divya, Divs, thank you.
Yeah.
This is terrific.
It was Tracy who said we're going to call you Dibs going forward. So I have to follow my leader. I take orders.
You will all have Aussie nicknames by the time I'm done with you. Don't worry.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've already got Gaza. So
Yeah.
I'm good.
So thank you all for joining us tonight. We're going to end the recording now, but please stick around for some overtime. Just as a little reminder, next week is the HBAP social overtime meetup. So startups won't be meeting, but please do come if you're an HBAPper. March 8th is Tom Cronin from tomcronin.com. March 15th is Dolly Singh. March 22nd is Allison Byers, who's here on this call right now. March 29th, we're going to be doing that workshop series on de-risking the business model. And April 26th, Pam Groen, The Business of Science. That is our upcoming schedule. Thank you all for joining us. I will see you next week.